Hello, welcome back to the Gamer's Tale. I'm Trent Gander. I'll be your dungeon master for the evening. Tonight, we're going to be gabbing about making. What was it? I can't even remember my own show name. Replayability in games. There's just some games out there that you can't not stop playing. And then there's the ones that are addictive as crack. So, how do we get there?
Content, 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 and like a full game.
Yes.
Instead of having to buy like Ubisoft, and EA DLCs that are not really DLCs.
Yeah.
They should have been,
Yeah.
included in the base game.
Definitely. It seems like, with, despite the fact that they're having more paid content, Ubisoft is at least doing reasonably well with Rainbow Six Siege, in that they are having enough to get people to continue to buy it. Because it looks like a really fun game, but yeah.
Yeah, it does look like a fun game. I definitely play it if I had time, which I kind of do now, but I'm still stuck on Fallout 4.
Yeah, I was brought that hoping we could bring that up because it seems like the two major ways to get people to continue playing games is either make it so that the story never really ends, or continually produce new things for it.
Yeah, like Skyrim. Skyrim is still
Yeah,
alive even after. When did that come out? Like 2015? Doesn't.
Like,
it was on the 360.
Yeah.
So
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? So like 2012.
yeah, it's got some time on it. Hang on, we can use the power of the internet because it's just something other than cat videos you can use it for.
No.
I mean, and they came out with what, 3 DLCs for it?
Whoa. November 11th, 2011 was
Oh,
when
crap.
Elder Scrolls V Skyrim was its initial release date. Wow. They have really worked that. I gotta admit, I'm impressed.
Yeah, they have a great community of modders, um, and even though Bethesda did for a time stifle that community, it's still kind of stifled now, but it's there's still a lot of people like creating new content by
Well, I've,
themselves.
I've I watched several mod channels before I got into watching live streams for modifications to Fallout 4 and Skyrim, and some of them are fantastically done. It takes some intelligence to do that, like very realistic lighting and all these just little knickknacks. One of
Great
the
textures.
yeah, one of them even included a coffee recipe written on one of the walls in detail. It looked like it was handwritten and everything. It's like these aren't just your average gamer doing this. This is someone who actually gives a crap about this game.
That's what game manufacturers should be like attracting, or people that do care like that. That they'll spend the time to maintain it, because if they do that, it becomes like a self-maintaining like ecosystem, if you will.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like how PUBG is, despite the fact that it's still an alpha, but they're working on it. They're going to be releasing a new map for it. I was watching earlier today, and it's like, we're not going to release it until it's ready, so we can't really tell you when that's going to be. It's like, okay, fine.
Which is good,
But
because I think they should really take the time to get it perfect.
yeah, especially now that they have backing from Microsoft, I think, for almost exclusive release on 360 before they try to expand into PS4.
So going to console, that's going to be a thing then.
Yeah, I think they're holding betas for it sometime in the end of 2017.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy about that, because it'll refine the game more and more.
Yeah.
We'll get a good product, just like what they did with Witcher 3, and what I think they're gonna do with Steampunk Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah. Observer, I was watching that earlier today, is really good. That's another way you can get replayability because it's a very grabbing story. But going on to another version of replayability is the achievements, perks, and things like that, where you have to play it multiple times to unlock different levels of difficulty, which really wasn't my thing. I never really did that except for maybe one game. And getting the different, yeah, it is kind of annoying. The only reason why I did that because I really enjoyed Ratchet Deadlock because it's an easy multiplayer game I could have played with my brother, and it was very fun, especially trying to level up all the weapons to godlike tiers, and then playing again on the easy levels, just like wiping out everything as you go along was fantastic.
Yeah, it's always fun. Like it's almost like God mode.
Mm.
But I don't
I
know,
think
just like Battlefield 2 or like the Battlefield system. I don't wanna like get stuck with like crappy weapons in the beginning. I just wanna like find a niche and just use it.
some of them are actually pretty good. I like running the baseline weapons for Battlefield 2 sometimes, especially when they force me into it, when my unlocks don't carry over. But I was going to stupidly ask, "Hey, do you have Battlefield 2 yet?" And I remember we played like a week or two ago
Yeah,
doing that.
dude, I missed this last one. How did you guys do?
It went poorly. Had my
Oh no.
brother, we had my friend Nathan, we had our friend Ben on. It ended up being Ty, Nathan, and Ben against me on opposite sides the entire time, and it wasn't as a nice cohesive squad
Oh, that always sucks.
thing. Mm. Yeah, and it seems like Saturday nights are really busy for Gru-chan, and it'd be really hard to get a 6-person squad up in there. But yeah,
Yeah, I should be able to get on this coming Saturday, like
I'm
later.
sure if Kyle can download it, I'm sure we'll accept him too. Okay.
Yeah, get the squad.
I'm always up for being accepted into things.
My brother, he was in this one game. He was part of a clan, and he was kind of tasked with some active recruiting. And so he would check out people's stats and then invite them. And so the way it was going about, I had to say that every time he did that, he was going like, "Hey, baby, you want to join my cult?" And that's always the vibe I kind of get when people are like actively recruiting for the clan in video games. Which, dang it, sounds
Yeah,
really.
I kind of stopped that on Steam, dude. Cause every time like somebody would add me on Steam, it's just weird.
Yeah, it's like I would add you on Steam, Joshua, or either of you, but I don't spend a lot of time on Steam. I only play like one game on there, and it's been a while.
No, I used to get like we were playing the Call of Duty. Used to get all these clans. Just trying to friend you. Like and then you accept one, and then you get like 3 or 4 pop-ups, like events, and like this is what's going on. I'm like, dude, I don't want to deal with that. I just want to play my game. So
Well, yeah, I only like join clans and stuff if I like know. Well, now I only join clans and stuff like if I know someone really well or like I've seen them enough times playing and stuff. It's like, okay, I know XYZ individual is really good, so if they're accepting me, they think I'm decently good, so this is going to work. Because in 21 Battlefield 2142, there was one guy, he and I continually reviving each other and worked really well. And then it's like I never saw him after that. After the 1 or 2 times I played with him, after I accepted his friend request, it was like so terrible. But then I found BF2 and haven't really gone back to 2142.
I like the whole premise of 2142. I mean, that was a replayable game.
Yes, I like 2142. I like the story that they had. The play is a lot different than Battlefield 2. 2142 puts that post near apocalypse desperation into the game of small unit operations of special forces trying to fight over limited resources. While BF2 feels like an infantry game where you have a lot of resources, a lot of manpower, and it's much easier to overwhelm a position compared to you got 4 guys and you're supposed to take down a giant flying spaceship like thing that can fry you from half the screen away.
Right. And like other games that kind of like that. Advanced Warfare was okay. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Advanced Warfare. I think I've seen some of that played.
Like it's still one of my gripes with the newer weapons and stuff like that. There's really no basis in real life, so it just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I always like a moderate amount of realism for my gaming, which is one of the reasons why I ran the RPG or RPK, whatever it was, in Modern Warfare 2, and I always would put FMJ on it so I could shoot through things, because at the time, most people weren't thinking about that until I started tearing through their cover.
Yeah, that's always fun, turning cover into concealment.
Yeah.
I would hide behind the hamburgers in the airport, waiting for people to come by.
My favorite place was at you guys play Terminal in Modern Warfare 2.
That's the airport.
Great.
Yeah, that was I did the ghillie suit. I did the Mark 14 EBR silence. And what do you call this? I'd camp out at the control tower kind of thing. Not near the control tower, across from it, like that little room above where you enter the main lobby.
Is it by the
Yeah.
on that top place where it's like you overlook the bookstore kind of.
Right. But I don't go on the roof. I go inside the room, and then I just crouch there, and then if our team gets the upper hand, they're always usually coming from the left or in front of you. It usually takes like 2 or 3 shots just to 2 or 3 like well placed shots in the above the knees, and it'll kill them. So I would rack up so many kills just sitting there.
Yeah. I was the guy that ran around with a riot shield and a throwing knife. So
I got Carney 3 in that game.
So did I.
I like the throwing knife more than the grenade, though, for whatever reason. My brother was the guy who ran around with MP5 akimbo and I think FMJ, so we just go around and hose everything at close range.
Oh, those guys.
Yeah.
Or the ones with the dual-wield shotgun.
We actually didn't get to Master Ski, I think, because we only played it when my cousin came over and brought his Xbox. And that didn't happen very often.
The what do you call this? The Kimbo shotguns were good with like a lightweight build, where you have like unlimited running and then a fast running.
Yeah.
And then you like pop in and out like from corners and stuff like that, and would really tear stuff up. But I was really partial to the UMP.
Yeah. It was
good.
You guys remember that one, the quarry stage?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You remember that warehouse, like at the very, like on the very one of the edges of the map, the warehouse. Oh no, it was near middle of the map. I'm sorry.
It was the one that had the bridge that went over another like a bridge on it, and then a
Yeah,
look on.
like a walkway kind of thing. Yeah, that's I would post up on there, and there was a spawn point where you could actually follow a line, um, and it wasn't a line. It was like a simulated bar of metal, or a simulated like like a pipe or something like that, and you could actually follow that, and I found it by accident, and you could when somebody would spawn there, you could actually get headshots with a UMP. Because you would put the sights on the pipe, and once you put that sights on the pipe, anyone that's spawning there, they're like running, away from the spawn point. You could take them out like 1 or 2 shots. I got banned a couple of times because they thought I was hacking. It was from like the it was from like half the map away. Like, how are you getting headshots, man?
Because I know how to run this thing, damn it.
Right.
The only thing I remember about Corey is that I got killed with a supposedly non-lethal concussion grenade on my cousin because I tossed it into a very small room that he was in, and he got crushed or whatever.
That's hilarious, man.
Oh man.
Yeah. Speaking of being good enough to get banned, I'm still angry. Not angry. Irritated that they nerfed the pistol, my favorite pistol, and Fistful of Frags, because I could get 3 kills with it quite easily, and then they'd have the range and made it extremely inaccurate at great distances, so I could no longer get 2-shot kills consistently. I hate when they punish skill.
Yeah.
But it's fair.
I can think of 3 or 4 things in that game that are definitely not fair that could use some nerfing compared to that pistol. They also want to nerf the bow, which takes some skill to use because you can kill people in 1 shot with it, but it's got an arc to it, so you have to compensate. And they've made the hitboxes weird. It sucks. That's why I haven't been on. Why Steam is practically useless for me. Yeah. But anyway, back to our topic of what makes it so that we actually want to play a game.
Mods. The mods, man. They have like really good mods for Fallout 4. And they have like a lot of good mods for Skyrim. I haven't really done a lot of the Skyrim mods, but the Fallout mods, they have like a lot of city or settlement building mods that still kind of sort of work with the DLC. So now my my settlements look like either like fortresses or prisons. I can't decide which.
Why not both?
Right. So I have like I spent like hours on this, because I have like nothing to do right now. But I'd have like 4 or 5 levels or floors, and each one of them, on the perimeter would have like missile turrets. So it just it's really fun, spawning like 20 death claws and just letting it go.
Let it go. Oh yeah. For me, it was the one game I probably played and beat the most is probably Sly 2. I love the story. I like finding all little goodies and things and breaking into the safes that they had. And it, for whatever reason, I just wanted to beat that game multiple times because I found it so enjoyable because the characters were so well written despite being anthropomorphic animals.
What was the game?
Sly 2.
Sly?
Yeah.
SLY?
SLY. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, like a DLCs too. I mean, I like, we got used to, growing up game generation. We got used to games that, when they come out, they have good content.
Yeah, boy, were we wrong.
It was like a well-rounded game. If it wasn't, it would fail.
Yeah. In
And,
our viewer, I asked if what gets them to replay. She says she doesn't really replay things unless it's something like BF1 where you're doing the same maps over and over. When she tries to replay, she gets bored in 2 seconds.
no, it does get boring. BF1, and so did the Battlefront. That got really boring fast.
Yeah, I've unlocked a lot of achievements on Battlefront 2, the original one, and that's because I just really enjoyed the game. They made it so well done.
Yeah,
It's
that was
not
the better
really,
game. That was a better game than the Battlefront remake.
yeah. Hopefully the new one will do really well. Hopefully we'll get Lee and Siren on because that's always fun to watch them interact. Not only just for the Star Wars, but I'll try to get you guys on there at the same time as well.
That would be entertaining.
Oh,
Yeah.
it definitely will be.
But,
Yeah, but that kind of only brings up the point that there's either really no story to the games that you can replay a lot, or there has to be so compelling a story that you want to replay the game.
I'm like that with the Witcher 3. Just because you get really invested in emotionally invested into the characters.
Mm.
I end up replaying the major fight scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I mark my save games, and I end up replaying just because it's pretty freaking badass. Like the way you kill like Imlerith and Caranthir. That was a fun. That was always a fun time.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I was a bit distracted. Yeah, there's always a certain part in Sly 3 that I always try to get to as fast as possible because they really changed the setup, and that was to become a pirate and to just go around on the high seas raiding ships and taking all the stuff. I became a dread pirate quite quickly with 100 each
Dread Pirate
sunk
Roberts.
and captured ships.
nice.
Yeah. I always try to keep it about even. So when I got... Because you technically have to destroy certain ships when you face like 3 at once, which I could do quite easily, and I was proud of that. You had to even it out somehow, so I would always try to prey upon lone ships just to keep the capture rate even. Because apparently I was very OCD about it, because I don't want to have 300 sunk ships and only 100 or less captured ships. I much prefer to get about even, mainly because the captured ships also gave you better loot if you defeated the captain, because it was both the price of the ship, the price of the thing you got to sell, and the other ships with them that you sunk. I was able to buy a lot of upgrades for that. Ooh. Sarah says to tell you, Joshua, that Witcher 3 was wonderful.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite game, ever. They
I
had
kind of want to play it.
It's really good. Do you wanna I can link you a link of a fight. Do you want me to do that, or do you want to play it when you play it?
I'll play it when I'll play it, which probably won't be much of anything. But if you want to send the link, go right ahead.
Yeah, it's they use like what like what we talked about in the previous Gamer's Tale. they use music very well.
Wait, is this the link about how they make the music again?
No, this is the actual fight. So
I have a tendency that people tell me things about movies and stuff since it takes me so long to get to them that by the time I actually do watch them, I either know exactly what to expect and then realize it's much different when you actually see it, or I completely forget and then remember it after it's happened.
here, let me pull it up on the group chat.
Sarah says you're the best, Josh. Yes. He is.
Okay.
He really is. Hearts of Stone, Old Gerd von Everett boss fight.
Yeah, like
These are on fire.
in this scene, like he fights this guy, Olgierd, and you know, it's really different from the way that Olgierd fights. He fights like a Turkish man, or I guess in this because he uses a saber, so it's you know, it's a lot different design from like the like a longsword or hand and a half.
Yeah, I'm gonna go into my weapon nerd thing. The use of saber was kind of at the same time as a longsword in the form of German messers, which they do feature in the game. So I'm not surprised, but if he uses more of a Tolwar type weapon, that would make him more Turkish. Or Shamshir, not Tolwar. That make him Indian.
Right.
Yeah.
And this you know, the saber is the way he makes cuts with it, it's they captured it very well when they did the motion capture for the game.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of Soul Calibur, because I really liked how the different styles really affected your gameplay. That's one of the things that kept me playing, at least. Of course, my favorite one was Siegfried with his giant paddle. And yes, he was an actual giant paddle. He had a boat or a gag weapon. The other one I liked was Raphael, who was more of a fencer, but he got a cane, so you were technically being beaten and stabbed with a cane while making weird noises. Now I say that out loud sounds makes the situation completely strange.
Are you watching the clip?
Oh no, I'm afraid that my frame rate would drop severely and that my computer might die.
Ah, okay. Well, let me see if I can explain. So when you're doing the boss fight, you know, what they did really well with the Witcher was not just the you know, the soundtrack, but the actual, you know, sound effects. You really hear like the, you know, the flames in the background when you're fighting. You hear it's very thick with activity.
Yeah, I kind of like that part. That actually reminds me of one other streamer I was watching. Sarah knows him as John Bob, but he was playing that new one with the woman. Tenua's Sacrifice or something? What was it called? What was that? I forget. The new one, the new mental thriller. But in the midst of all the fighting and all the action and all the fire that he was in, his ringtone goes off, so you hear the theme of One Punch Man during the entire fight. He says, you tell me that during that entire tense scene, you heard One Punch Man. Yes. Yes, we did.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. My entire gripe about that entire game is that when she draws the sword, the sword automatically becomes about 1 to 2/3 its length longer. And it pisses me off for some reason. Oh, that's right. Hellblade. Thank you.
Maybe it's like a magic sword or something.
It probably is, but I get very touchy about those kind of subjects because there is a certain science to it, and it's like not everyone knows it, and it grinds my gears. That's why I liked For Honor so much, but unfortunately that's kind of dying because of the microtransactions, and no one really likes the old Soul Calibur type games anymore. It seems.
Yeah, it's fallen out of favor, and yeah, those microtransactions. That's what really kills the game. Nobody wants to pay for content that they already paid for with the main game.
I can understand why they do it, but for things like War Thunder that I like to play, I want to get back into playing because I haven't played it in a while, and I truly love that game. I can understand buying premium content, but most of the things that you could unlock were you put in your time and effort trying to unlock them. It wasn't as terrible as some of the microtransaction stories, like people paying just for an upgraded thing. Some of them were mainly just skins, but I think there's a certain balance you have to have for microtransactions and content. And War Thunder had a lot of free content that you could lose your life to trying to unlock them all without spending any money. I think we talked about it. Go ahead, Josh. I was just going to bring up something else.
Oh, go ahead.
When we talked about, I think it was last week, the week before, how we seem to have reached moderate storytelling abilities when we have fantastic graphics, and the older games that we would just play over and over again had fantastic stories and really, really crap graphics.
Yeah, your imagination filled in a lot of it. As a kid, which is nice because this is why I like reading books to this day. Just fiction books is just because of that.
Oh yeah, the effects that happen in your head
are a lot better than what they can portray in the movie.
Yeah, and the way people look and how they behave is much better.
Yeah, and there you can paint the picture with words a lot better than actors can act. Unfortunately, you can get close, but if you get a good author, I think two sides of the same coin. But
Oh yeah,
I prefer the books, just like with Harry Potter. Sorry, true.
The Legacy series for Star Wars had 3 different authors for its 9 books. You could definitely tell the different motivations between the 3 authors. There was one who was used to writing like scripts for video games, and he had very cardboardy characters that were driven mainly by action. You had one guy who was mainly driven by events and kind of a god overseer kind of mentality. So you see motivations, but you really don't see it from the people's perspective. And then there's one of like your favorite authors' version where it's like you feel the emotional reasons and the mental reasons and see inside their heads as they're making these decisions. And it's more all these personal choices leading to these much larger outcomes compared to these larger outcomes affecting people's personal choices.
And why they do what they do. And that's what makes a great author. That's one aspect.
Anyway, but yeah, the offers a variety of quality options, I must say, because some of them is utter crap and others is fantastic. Sarah is going off of your imagination comment Joshua says, like Tomb Raider. We all imagined her boobs weren't quite that pointy. I've seen cosplayers recreate that look from the original Tomb Raider. It's quite amusing.
It is. Oh man. But yeah, when I think Tomb Raider, I think Angelina Jolie 2001.
Unfortunately, so do I.
Unfortunately.
Fortunately, lol.
Oh, true. I keep remembering years afterwards I caught one where it was in the Spanish dub and it was just very terrible. It was like watching something in Japanese, but it's in English dub, and it doesn't capture as much as you should understand with it.
So how about
Yeah.
Tifa from Final Fantasy VII?
I'm sorry. I've only played like Final Fantasy 3, maybe, in Final Fantasy 2. In Final Fantasy.
I've played none of them.
Yeah,
I hear they have great music though.
They do. Great score. I actually attended a totally forgot what the hell that was that I attended. Sorry, man. I'm like kind of out of it today.
I think it's transferable because before we got on, I was having complete brain farts and was extremely tired, and now it's just transferred over to Joshua, in part because apparently I had a lot of it, and I'm still half way to non-functioning.
Oh, that's what it was. Back in 2015 or 2015. They had a Final Fantasy VII concert here in Las Vegas, held in the UNLV Orchestra Hall, and it was really nice. Makes you fall asleep. Made everybody fall asleep, actually.
For some reason, I thought you said makes them bollocks sleep.
Bollocks?
Bollocks.
Yeah, it made everybody fall asleep. It was nice.
Yeah, there are two types of classical music. There's the stuff that you will definitely fall asleep to, and then there's the stuff like the 1812 Overture that has cows on stage and cannons being fired, and you can't sleep at all.
Oh, you're just not trying hard enough.
I'm sure if I was tired enough, I would fall asleep. But yeah, I can't fall asleep sitting up, though I've tried. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. What other games or book series would you like games to or to be made into a game? I'm looking at
well, actually, it's kind of counterintuitive. Star Wars Republic Commando, which I still need to play, had as a book series attached to it. It's probably one of the best I have ever read, which I've read like 12 times for it. And I kind of wish they continued that storyline and did more Republic Commando 2, because it was like, to give you kind of a feel for it, it was like Halo in the Star Wars universe when Halo was good. That still makes me want to play it.
Republic Commando?
But, yeah, Republic Commando. Like Halo 3 in the Star Wars universe. But not the Star Wars universe we know. It was a much grittier, darker game as you shanked tinnies with a knife in your glove and gore got everywhere.
Yeah, I'd play that.
That sounds pretty fun, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably one of the. I wouldn't say it's a cult classic, but it was like an Xbox and PC exclusive, so not a lot of PS2 action, but it was very gritty looking. Like you had to save Wookiees, and people are getting their heads chopped off, and all sorts of really fun stuff.
This was
Oh, sorry.
pre Clone
It,
Wars, right?
no, this is during the Clone Wars. Like, the entire Republic Commando series takes place between uh, Star Wars: The Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith, and kind of extends into the before A New Hope.
Really?
So that's what the book series covers. Star Wars: Republic Commando, the game, covers from the Battle of Geonosis in Star Wars: The Clone Wars to just before the end of the the Clone Wars, right before Order 66.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you guys play any Blizzard games like StarCraft, Warcraft?
No, but I do remember having a StarCraft handbook that I would just read for entertainment that I got from a rummage sale, like, I
Yeah,
forget how many years ago.
it's a very like replayable games like RTS games. I used to spend like hours and hours like playing like StarCraft original.
It kind of reminds me of Advance Wars, which I like. I like building the scenarios where these massive amounts of armies are about to do battle and then blow everything up, favoring one side that I like for whatever non-reasonable reason I had.
Do you guys play a lot of like base building games like like Red Alert, you know, StarCraft?
No,
Not really.
I tried them, but I think I started gaming on those way too late. I think if I would have started when I was younger, I probably would have gotten more out of those.
The closest thing I can say that I actually played a lot of was Civilization 2 when my internet was down. And so I became the glorious leader of the Japanese Republic. Not being able to conquer the world, but I had Marines from Fukushima who were nicknamed FUK. So that was totally worth the hours and hours I poured into Civilization 2, only to be forced into maintaining peace with the Nords, who would then try to ICBM me into submission. But I had the Manhattan Project and nukes, so they wouldn't touch me.
Yeah,
I
see,
had one nuke.
I would
One.
purposefully like hold off on with the Civ games. I would purposefully hold off on the Manhattan Project and let some other like slow country like complete it, just so I could take over like the rest of the world with my conventional forces.
Yeah, I got to a point in there where I had tanks and aircraft and ballistic missiles. And Spain, who hated my guts and still tried to kill me, Spain was fighting me with musketeers and elephants.
Nice.
I
For
was
Civ 6, it's the Indians, Gandhi,
oh
who was like always nuke happy.
Gandhi always. I don't care who you ask. Always Gandhi threatened me with nuclear war and said my civilization was like an offense to humanity and that he would gladly wipe me off the face of the earth unless we wanted peace and unless I paid him $100.
Yeah, not happening, buddy.
I told him no, and I asked for tribute every time.
Did he accept?
He usually got angry, then I destroyed one of his cities, telling me that he would gladly destroy me and offered to take tribute for me to pay him off. I said no. Repeat as necessary until he signs a peace agreement.
Yeah, if if I'm like if they piss me off or in a bad mood, I'd probably just wipe out that whole nation.
Yeah,
Because I mean, if you got the forces anywhere, you get your artillery position, you got your your tanks,
I quite literally
and your tow infantry.
wanted. Oh, It wasn't the. It was the current Carthaginians. The Carthaginians were the pain in my ass when I was Japanese. They always broke the peace agreement and stole my stuff, and I couldn't figure out how to get them to remove their units from around stuff that I had had for years, literally thousands of years in game. And so they just keep surprise attacking me every time we sued for peace and broke the ceasefire. And so, unfortunately, at that time I had public, so I couldn't just continue to try to wipe them off the face of the earth, which was part of my entire plan because they had stabbed me in the back and stolen my technology for so long that it's like, nope, sorry, the parliament says you can't do this. Like, damn it.
Yeah, that's why
You know they're,
this is
you
this
know
is
they're
one
going
of
to
the
turn on
only
us.
this is one of the only reasons why I go with like a communism in in the game, because it doesn't work in real life, but on paper, in game it works pretty well.
Yeah, I always do. I like playing it on easy when people just like give me crap for the from the huts and things. That's always fun, especially when it's like, hey, they gave you a unit. It's like, okay, I don't really need a unit. I'd rather have metallurgy, thank you. But it's
Yeah,
also
early
kind of
game.
funny.
Yeah, early game. I usually like exploring and getting the villages, so they give you stuff like technology.
That and also keeps it out of the hands of your enemies. So, yay! I'm always seen to be a warlord in that game.
Yeah, I think that's like the best way. Like and basically when it boils down to it, this goes for real life too.
Wait, isn't that kind of like the Bender quote? They'll learn of our peaceful ways by force.
Right. When it comes down to it, that's what it is. It's about forcing, having the power to exert your will upon another person or another nation. When it comes down to it, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, oh,
it's a very basic.
there's always the kind of guy
There's
in FOF who always tries to be like the pacifist, bringing whiskey to everyone, and he usually gets shot because he can't communicate that he's peaceful because he's just squatting there and he's like typing in chat or something. So it ends up being like, "Can you just leave me alone?" There's one guy who always would be playing the piano and says, "I just want to play my piano in peace. Can you leave me alone?" It's like, no. Yeah. The yeah, warlording is best.
what's up?
I said warlording is best. I always like the I wouldn't say renegade parts of the games where you just like raid pirates and was it in Fallout 4 that you always had to help another settlement? Do you actually get to run those after you help them?
Yeah, actually, you get to build stuff on them. So like every one of my settlements are like like either prisons or fortresses. So you get to build like a there's a not really a hack or anything. It's just a way to uh, increase your building potential because it's limited in game. Because if you put too much things down, it'll slow down your settlement and you'll drop frames.
Mm. Hate dropping frames, especially when I get 5 frames a second, if not one.
Yeah, that's always a bad thing. So I think that's why Bethesda did that. But you know um, if the hardware can handle it, you can add some more. So you'll
Feel the
be able to.
power.
Yeah. So I have something like like 200 something missile turrets all around the perimeter. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what makes it replayable. I mean, I'll literally sit there and like build. And if nothing, if I don't like the way it looks, I'll tear it down and build it again.
Oh yeah. I like the character building. I always liked exploring in games more than I liked the grinding. I like going to places and just like finding random things, and especially in games like RuneScape is how I made my fortune. I just go around and find surprisingly valuable items just laying on the ground.
Yeah, you would definitely like The Witcher because that's basically it's basically you get to explore a huge world. Like I think Velen, you know, it's probably the size of like a large city. Like walking, from one place to another, it's huge. They did a really good job in like scaling the game.
Mhm.
You still have fast travel, but if you want to like travel like regular on like a horse on Roach, yeah, you can, and you'll see a lot of the um, you'll see a lot of the like scenery, and you get to explore like new places.
I kind of want Red Dead Redemption 2 to come out soon so I can play that. Because I want to play the Redemption games.
I just want Borderlands 3.
Mm. It seems like all the post-apocalyptic games that have a moderately open world and lots of chaos in it seem to be the most replayable. I
Yeah.
wonder why.
Quests. All the quests.
All the quests,
I
all the
must-
interesting quests.
Yes.
So, what do you guys like in terms of like genre? Do you guys do a lot more like fantasy or like more like sci-fi? I'm more in the fantasy camp.
I like both. I never really said I absolutely like one set of genre. I like having a variety of things, especially since good stories kind of meld all of them together into one thing.
Yeah, I'm the same way as. Yeah, I'm the same. I don't have one set thing that I follow. If it if it interests me, then that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's like Firefly. Firefly has that kind of almost steampunky vibe, but it's an old west, but it's also uh, space. And then things like Red Dead Redemption is solid cowboy, but then we have things like Star Wars where it's solid sci-fi and not full on sci-fi. But there are things I like about all of them, and depending on my mood, I will play one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I kind
I
of
like
wish that you like them what?
Oh, I was gonna say like in terms of like storylines, just like I was a really big fan of like the StarCraft universe and the lore. I'd sometimes like if I'm like bored, I'd watch a lot of the cutscenes from StarCraft 2. It plays like a movie, and Blizzard really does a good job in telling that story with CGI, and it's not like crappy CGI. It's like top quality CGI.
Yeah, I'd like I like 40K because it has the harsh sci-fi and the harsh fantasy elements into it.
Oh,
And
like the Ultramarines movie.
yeah, like the Ultramarines. I personally prefer the Dark Angels and the Black Templar compared to the Toilet Seat Brigade. And yeah, uh, I like that you could. It's kind of like it's open world, but there's certain factions, so there's literally everything for everyone. For every taste, there's a faction.
Yeah, that's always fun. I'm partial to the Grey Knights myself.
Oh, Grey Knights. I thought you said
Yeah.
Grey Necks. It's like wait. The only reason I
What
think
chapter
that
is that?
uh, The Grey Knights.
No, you said Great Next. I'm like, what chapter is that?
I only brought that up because we were looking at, or I was looking at 5th edition Species with extra thing, and they had Alien Greys. It's like they have that in Dungeons and Dragons. Hell. Anyway.
But yeah, sorry, my mic was off. Yeah, if I had the time and money, I would definitely try doing the tabletop.
Hmm.
It takes time to like paint.
I loved Hero Skate. Mainly because I didn't have to paint the figurines, which you have to do with 40K. Yeah, I'm not that artsy.
Yeah, just you get some really funny looking space marines.
Or you could just leave them unpainted. I mean, there's that.
Grey Knights for everyone.
No, there are literally people who will play games that just have the unpainted figurines, and they're just like, I'm not going to get to that. I mean, I don't really blame them. But people apparently apply too much paint to them, so they have to thin them out, or it's just like really gloppy, and they do a really horrible job. It's like, I like art. I like 40K. I don't like it enough to spend that much money and time on it when I can do stuff on YouTube
Agreed.
or buy
And
swords.
I'd rather play like the game too. I mean, computer game.
Oh yeah,
Dawn of War
I
was
want to.
Dawn of War was a really good game.
I need to play those, but I also need money to do that. Extra money, so it'd probably be a much better PC.
I would recommend going with a Dawn of War 1 because Dawn of War 2 it's like a different it's a different system. You have more squads than anything versus you get like StarCraft like play with Dawn of War 1.
Yeah.
You get to build more things than Dawn of War 2.
I liked one of the blades that they used in, I think, one of the upcoming war Space Marine ones, and it's like this huge Bowie knife. It's like, I want one of those so bad. They used it wrong for the comment they were using, but yes, I really wanted those. Anyway, yeah, I hate how it's like some nights we have really great conversation, and then we're like,
Yeah, sorry man,
in
I'm
between.
kind of out of it. I'm just getting over the scold.
I blame me.
You blame you?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some blame there.
Probably.
Not really, but yeah, if we had Kenzie and Leon, they would just be going back and forth. The sexual innuendo would be through the roof. And when we have them on next, you should definitely tune in and watch because it is a fun time.
Yes.
With many awkward pauses.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Maybe, wait, next Wednesday is in September, so that could be the next Star Wars one, or Star Wars themed. It definitely won't stay on Star Wars with Kenzie and Lee around, but I should try to get them on. The only problem is Kenzie most likely will be available, but Lee may not be. His schedule is a lot crazier now, despite having settled down. Oh, Josh, Sarah says that since you like Witcher, you're friends for life with her now.
Aw.
Yeah.
Add me on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, first wait. I was gonna say first you'd have to add me on Facebook, but never mind that. No. I only know her on Twitter. No, or YouTube. Never mind. This is getting weird. Well, I think since that's actually kind of our average fare, I think that's a good time for us to end on. Since it's been about an hour, and I don't want to suddenly collapse from exhaustion on stream. That would be inconvenient. So we're going to say goodbye for now. But
Thanks for having me, man.
yeah, it's always fun.
Yeah, thanks.
And we'll catch you next time. And cool music plays as the lights go down.